can't do it. We'll do it live. No. We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
Deep fried pixels.
Great, good stuff. I think people are getting really cranked.
Hey. I think it worked this time. Hola. Hello, gentlemen. Here we are once again, trying to have just the tiniest bit of resonance of professionalism with Deep Fried Pixels, podcast number 6.
It's tough. It's tough to feel professional when Tippett Studios is declaring bankruptcy.
It's chapter 11, right? So
yeah.
Well, yeah, you know how businesses are. I've never understood. Like, chapter 11 doesn't necessarily mean you're going anywhere.
No, it just well, I mean, it's probably like payroll. It may include payroll, people not getting paid that way.
Yeah.
And
I know people that haven't been paid. There's a ton of people. I heard that they owe something like allegedly, let's say that allegedly, over like $3 or $4 million in payroll.
Tippett does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that sounds like an amazing amount. But honestly, for a studio that large, that could be one payroll period, right? Like it doesn't mean they went like months without paying people. It could legitimately be 1 or 2 payroll.
No, they went like 6 or 7 months, I think it was. Last person I talked to. Yeah.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. They
how do you continue to work in a place for that long and not get paid?
Sorry about the dogs that have a delivery here. Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, I don't know. Like, if it were me, after 2 months, I'd be like, I'm not working unless you guys pay me.
Yeah. If the paychecks don't come in, neither do I. That's
I don't know how you get 6 months in.
Well, there's
like
a lot
at that point, that's like the moving the guy down to the basement. There's a problem with my paycheck. At some point that's put on you. If you've worked for this company for 6 months and have not gotten a paycheck and still get some runaround every single 2 weeks, like at some point that becomes on you.
Yeah, it's no secret the visual effects industry is full of a lot of people who all have the Kool-Aid, the permanent Kool-Aid mustache.
Yeah.
And just the amount of noodling that goes on is it's costly, and that's somebody's gotta pay for that, and it's rarely the people who are doling out the work that end up paying for it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I just heard too from a buddy that at DNEG that they just now start paying the full rate again just now. I know places that are still, in fact, they're not going back to full pay ever.
That's what I've heard. A lot of places being like, "Yeah, we're just cutting, we're just slashing prices and passing the savings on to our client permanently."
And we're not. Yeah, it's not like a 5%. It's like, anywhere between 25 to 45, 55% pay cut. It's like, you might as well do something else.
It's not marginal, right?
Yeah, it's you might as well go be a junior artist with less experience somewhere else, with less responsibilities,
or just I mean, crazy. I've talked to more people than not. The sentiment has been, I'm thinking about leaving the industry. Not like what are my transferable skills? They're just kind of like, I'm done, and I don't like this, and this doesn't seem to like me.
I mean, I've been on that boat for the past 3 years. I want to might have my way out now, sort of. It's more lateral, I guess, and back into games. But if that happens, next week, then fuck it, I'm jumping on that, and then I'm going to stay on that for a while. It's guaranteed work for fucking years, essentially. That's what I was talking to my friend about. He was the guy who was I might jump over his company, and he's like, dude, because I haven't seen any sort of slowdown at all. It's been nonstop for the past 16 years for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in games. So
Yeah, I mean, some people are lucky and just miss
It
the
depends on where
axe.
you land in games, right?
Yeah.
I mean, games is going through its own hardships at this point
Yeah.
too. But
Yeah, well, what they do is they outsource effects to studios, so they're kind of like an Exodus, right? Sort of like that, like a kind of a co-op sort of thing, and they just basically, hey, Microsoft needs some effects or VFX artists for this game. All right, you hire them out. We'll come in and do it remotely or come on site or whatever. Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah.
Little guns for hire.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a racket. Where's our independent wealth?
Dude, right? Why can't we just fucking retire already?
Where's that rich uncle everybody has?
I think our generation is on the threshold of like, we'll probably die in squalor, to a bit, like we'll have our Social Security, maybe, something. But
I hope so.
our children,
No, Social Security isn't going to be around by the time we're able to tap into that.
20 years.
Yeah, it ain't going to be around anymore.
Think, hopefully not, or hopefully it will be.
No, I don't think it is. I think I saw something where like Social Security runs out in like 10 years. They don't have any money.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just done with it. They don't really have any plans. I don't know.
Oh, they got plans, man.
Oh, they got plans with our money for sure.
Yeah, we'll get into that. There's certain things people are after, and it all involves spending everybody else's money. Which, I mean, certain systems are great while you spend everybody else's money, but then when you run out of it, what is,
I just want to wear that hat for a minute.
At the end of the day?
There
Yeah.
it
I just want to wear
is.
that hat for a minute. How do I sign up for
yeah.
this?
Yeah,
I see less qualified people doing it every day than me.
Yeah.
I don't understand. They seem to be assholes. I'm an asshole. Why can't I do it?
Yeah,
You're competent. That's why.
what isn't? Yeah, well, that's the problem. And that's another situation that I often encounter. Not all the time, but more often than not, where you're the one person doing the work, and you've got like 4 or 5 other people, like middle management type positions, like kind of orbiting you while you're doing all the work. And those situations have like just built up over time to the point where I've just am like, in those situations, I can't help but just be blunt with people. Like when they say, hey, I want to help you. And I'm like, then stay out of my way. Leave me alone. That's what you can do. Go run your spreadsheets.
Oh, yeah.
Go make your phone calls.
I can't stand getting these new junior producers on shows. And
Go
it's just
tell,
constantly checking in with you. Just checking in with you today. See if you're going to be able to, like, what's the point of that?
Go practice. Yeah. Go practice telling the client they're not going to get it on time when they
No, I mean, I've established a long enough career of being very vocal and letting people know and talking and like being very communicative. If I feel that something's not going to make it, I'm very communicative. I've always been that way, but it's like you get these people in that just like, well, make sure you do this, and it's like, no, sorry,
yeah,
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. It's like you have to have a talk with them. Like, listen, I've been here a while. I know how this all goes. Don't worry, I got this. Blah blah.
Yeah,
it's super annoying. Yeah, what a shit year though, man. This year shaping up
rough.
to be. It's I think worse than last year for sure. Shaping up that way. Everyone keeps saying. I know on LinkedIn I keep seeing survive till 25. It's like, motherfucker, none of us are surviving till 25. I mean, my unemployment's is going to be out here in like 4 months, I think now. So it's like
right. Yeah. What am I doing?
Yeah,
what am I supposed to do?
What's happening here?
Yeah.
It's all a little crazy, scary in that regard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the future is not bright, gentlemen.
It doesn't feel like it.
It really doesn't. I feel like AI has done more worse and bad to the world than good, if anything. I honestly.
Well, the threat of AI is actually going to be worse than AI.
Yeah. Well, what's the irony is, and Josh isn't here tonight. But the reviewing Metropolis. I don't want to pop the cherry early, but it's just like it's the theme. It's the theme of Metropolis.
Yeah.
Like the fear of automation and taking into account what was going on in the world at the time. There's the fear of automation, the fear of machines replacing us or becoming part of us, which is, what's the Chopex robots or whatever the theme was that was kind of shamelessly lifted from. Yeah, same stuff as we were talking about with Terminator.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of interesting how those themes kind of come in and out of our zeitgeist.
I can't help but wonder if if that may be a purposeful thing. You know what I mean? Like we were just talking a few minutes ago about people with power, with influence, with money. And why are they, I think we do have to ask ourselves, why are they piping these stories into our sphere over and over and over again? Why are they beating us over the head with this and conditioning us with these stories?
Been piped into for years now. I'm over it.
Yeah, like I mean, it desensitizes us to those concepts, certainly. And I can't help but wonder if maybe somebody behind the scenes is like, if we do this enough, when we finally like slide it in, everybody will be like, okay, right, this is the way it's supposed to go. As like, I love that analogy of riding a bike, and whatever you stare at is kind of what you veer off towards. And I think people have been hard at work pushing this for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, look at the and when I say, I know that you squirmed in your seat a little bit there, Brandon, when I said that the threat of AI will be worse than AI. I guess what I mean by that is like, look at what's going on to this. They've come out and found now that some of these AI videos are actually comped together. And not really done all congruently with AI. They're cleaned up afterwards with stuff and whatnot. So like, I guess that's the point. Is like
jerks.
Jerks. We all know it's like it's like whenever 3D came around, it was like, well, that's going to be the end of traditional animation and cartoons. It's not true. They right after Shrek and all those came out, they came out with Lilo and Stitch, and it was, it's always been a wonderful cell animated, 2D movie.
You're right, but I mean, it's like there's hardly any 2D animated movies now, though.
There's not as much, but it just changed, right? It changed how you, because look at places like Pixar. Pixar would be the top of the level of that kind of animation, and has been for a long time. But in order to be a animator at Pixar, you must have had 20 plus years of traditional animation experience. You didn't have to have, if you read to be an entry level animator at Pixar, you had to have no 3D animation experience whatsoever. You had to have traditional and hand drawn animation experience. So I can see where it's just a transition, right? Like those same guys that were at the top of their game. Well, they just
but there's not going to be a Pixar that's going to be like, hey, yeah, you can come on over, but we'll help train you up. That's not going to be the case, unfortunately. Pixar is probably one of the few places that probably even did that, because the rest of the time it's like, fuck you guys at Disney, 2D animators, goodbye. Like they didn't try to transition them or anything. And there's just horror stories about that shit. These guys just lost everything. They're just
it's dog eat dog. I mean, you can't wait around for somebody to do it for you. You gotta make that pivot yourself, right? Like nobody's gonna pivot you.
Right. But I mean, you're talking about guys our age. I mean, just put yourself in their shoes for a second and think about, maybe hardly ever touched a computer in their lives. They're masters at the craft, but they have to go off and try to learn anything. Granted, that's a lot, but at someone who's a family, who has the spare time, I mean, dude, you're basically, it's almost like, do you really want to do animation? You might as well just go do something else as well. Like at that point, because you're basically learning something completely different besides just the basics of animation, which you have, right? I mean, you're basically relearning an entire new life.
Yeah, but that goes with any technology or anything, right? Like, there's not a single discipline that you can think of that you can learn today that's going to be the same relevance in 25 years.
Right.
Except for maybe
you could say that about animation for probably 70 years or so, 60 years maybe. So, I mean, like that was there for so long, right? And so what I'm getting at though is like people our age in our 40s, just relearning something, doing a career pivot is fucking incredibly hard. Not to mention ageism in the workplace. no one's going to want to hire anyone new, like a junior artist in their 40s. Not going to happen. Like, sorry, I just know that for a fact. I've been
but it's also
on the other side
you allowed yourself as an artist to get pigeonholed.
Well, no, I'm saying though, let's just back up for a second. Let's take the Disney artists, for example. The Disney artists are working, they're making a comfortable living. Why should they want to just go, oh, I need to go buy a $15,000 computer? At the time when they needed to learn this stuff, it wasn't a cheap thing to get. Like, it was extreme. The entry level to that was extremely expensive. The time commitment on that would be like working another job, a full-time job of learning. That what I'm getting at is that there's not going to be another probably like, oh, you're going to learn this on the job training AI shit. No, that's either, like you're saying, either you have to man up and just learn this shit, learn how to program and stuff and do it, or not. Like, and a lot of people just aren't going to. It's just going to be overtaken by younger artists who have the time in school to do this stuff. It's just, I just don't see that.
Well, I think that also comes with the difference between, like, I've always said that in our world, there's a pivot of, like, or not a pivot, but a gauge of artists and technicians, right? Like, you have one side of it is artists, one side is technicians, and every artist falls somewhere on that gauge, right? And you have some of those anomalies, and we've all met those people that are very good at both sides, right? Like that have the ability to tap in, but those people are the anomalies. Most people fall somewhere on that spectrum and are either better at being a technician or better being an artist. I know myself that I'm an artist, but I've run into plenty of technicians, which seem to be the people that are really running more with the AI stuff. And I'm not saying there aren't artists that are involved with that. We know artists that are involved with that. You guys are involved with it more than I am. But, like, it seems to be more the technicians that seem to be kind of pushing the narrative right now. And it's not really going to become that tool until the artists get their hands on it. Once the artists get their hands on it, that's when we see it as a tool to use along with other things, right? And so that's where, all three of us, I consider to be artists in the sense of we don't have one discipline. No three of us have one single discipline we know how to do. If Zach was just a modeler, he'd probably be fucked right now and have been out of a job last year, right? If you just did FX work and that was it, same thing. Me too. If I only did graphics and that was it, then I probably wouldn't have a job anymore, right? Like, but we have all broadened our skill sets to the point where, because we take on every single challenge as an artist sees it, right? Like we go into it and we take on the challenge and not really know how to maybe play with inside the box that you should play inside, right? I've learned a lot of programs and become efficient at things just because I didn't learn it the traditional way and learn it by, like, going to school and learning the box you're supposed to stay in. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I learn it, and I'm learning it just by being logical and thinking about different ways. But I've learned that I've run into other people. Like, I've worked in After Effects for 25 years. I worked with a guy that came to work in visual effects from Adobe and worked at Adobe on the After Effects team. And he came and I'm training him how to do some things. And he's asking me, like, how the hell did you just do that? Like, I didn't even know you could do that. And I'm going, I didn't know you couldn't do that.
That's so funny. That's so
right?
cool.
Like,
that's so fun to show someone, though, that like that. Like, holy shit, you didn't know? That's fucking cool. So now you...
Yeah, but, it's because they're thinking of it too much inside the box, right? And it takes that artist to really think of it outside the box and to break those boundaries and to push past those things. A true artist and technician was Steve Jobs. Right, he saw both sides of those things. He could see both sides of the beauty of the art and the technical processes of it, and that's why he pushed the envelopes on both sides, right, and became this innovator that he was. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. He was a good marketer and knew what was good. He had a knack for that for sure.
Yeah,
knew what was going to work and what was going to work. I was just watching some videos the other night of.
He had a lot of mushrooms.
Yeah, a lot of the crazy shit. But they were showing the video, the advertising video for the iPhone 3GS, and it was like the first one that I think had the video and stuff. You recorded and edited in the phone, and just like it was like 2009, I think. And the comments were just so funny because it was just like, it was interesting to see people's turning points. Are like, dude, people just don't understand what a big deal this was. Like, because we take it for granted now, but it was when it came out, it was such a fucking crazy thing to do. Oh, I can shoot actual usable video on my phone and edit it right here.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty fucking wild.
Bananas.
And now your iPhone, I mean, like this phone is as good as any damn,
Is that the new one?
You really, I don't know that you, do they even sell really like point and shoot, like Canon? Remember those Canon ELPH cameras? Everybody used to have an ELPH, you know what I mean?
Let's shoot, yeah.
Those little point and shoots. Do they still sell those?
So.
Huh.
Yeah.
What draconian bastard uses one of those?
my kid.
Oh, I guess I did get my kid a Polaroid camera for Christmas.
Yeah,
which she thought that was cool. But
we got him for our kids because we don't really want them to be running around with like phones.
Yeah,
because they're just too young. They'll break them. Plus, they don't need to be having the screen time.
Yeah,
gonna rot their brains.
I mean, they're gonna get enough of that when they get older.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna get the full force of it. We didn't get into it until our late 20s.
Yeah. Well, plus, I mean, you run around with like a nice, like a DSLR or something like that. That's basically kind of the equivalent of that. I mean, it shoots a better photo for sure. But sometimes, I don't know, man. As time goes on, I find myself purposely grabbing devices that don't work like my phone, that don't have all the functionality, and leaving my phone behind and just going for like purpose-driven outings. Without and not including that with me, for number one, so people don't have access to me, and two, like just to force myself to disconnect from that technology, so that I don't end up like Chopex robots.
I really want to talk about Metropolis, damn it!
Intertwined with my.
There's so much behind all these evil movies, and there's always this whole society. There's always just this one like evil like mastermind, right?
Yeah. Right.
Isn't there? What was his name? Grogok or something? The scientist, weird scientist dude, with the metal hand.
Grogok,
yeah. Like he's.
We were pushing.
Everybody had just such eye work back then in the movies.
With their faces that had paint makeup on and just eyeliner.
They really went. They really went for it with the eyeliner stuff.
Oh, and then oh god, a woman in distress running in an old 1920s movies is just one of the greatest things.
You're gonna catch me? Oh, don't catch me! Please don't catch me! Oh. Don't ever catch me, please! Oh, I'm telling you, I'm begging you.
But what a fantastic movie, though! Like for real, like I thought, even though it took forever, it is so long.
I told you,
it is really long because it's a silent movie, right? Like so, you don't think about. I don't think most silent movies back then used to be like over 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was epic,
But what an ambitious project.
You know what? Okay, so I know this is not going to be a popular opinion. Me, personally, I've watched it a few times, and I can't stand it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't stand it. My favorite thing about Metropolis is the review that H.G. Wells did for it.
Oh yeah, what was that?
He tears it a new asshole.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he? Right?
And his review of it, like I won't spoil it for anybody, but go, if you got some 20 minutes to sit down and read a scathing the original scathing Rotten Tomatoes review.
I'll have to check it out.
Give it it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
It's funny. I won't give a movie like Terminator a pass for being built at the time, right? Like last week, I wouldn't. But this one, I'm going like, okay, they made it 100 years ago.
Yeah, no, I mean it was. I mean for its time, it's an interesting thing, right? Because Germans aren't necessarily. They've made some good cinema. It was just an interesting twist on everything else that was out there for the time.
It was just so it seemed to push every envelope of the time, right? Like cinematically, the length of the movie, the sets were massive.
Yeah,
on some of them, the paintwork in it was great. Mm-hmm. All the matte painting was really good. I thought especially some of the interstitials where they were doing the masking work and like stuff like that. It was for 100 years ago. Like, wow, they had to do all that shit by hand.
Yeah.
Like that's where I give them a little bit of a pass where it's
right.
Holy crap. And not only did they have to do it by hand, but they had to kind of invent some of those processes. I don't know were they masking things back then like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie Chaplin, there's a lot of Charlie Chaplin flicks where they were doing all that kind of crazy stuff.
But they were doing it in camera as projected, the glass plate images.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly how they did these, but these seemed to be a post-process. Like they were just doing them on, like they were running them through plates.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing where those guys are coming down the elevator and there's that reveal of like them coming down into the depths or whatever. Like it had such good perspective on it, and like it had a little bit, like I thought it was really cool how I can tell what they did is they just cut out that frame and held it still as they ran the other one behind it and filmed it, but like they barely knew how to do that in the 20s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Did my camera die?
Looks like you're stuck on here to me.
Oh well.
The first line of the review is funny. It's like, I've seen the silliest film.
yeah. He's. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's an
Josh.
interesting.
I thought Josh was the issue there. Brian, sorry.
Yeah, well, he is. He's been under the desk the whole evening. I'm sorry that he hasn't been able to show it for this podcast.
Draining you?
Connecting wire. I don't know. He's covered in wires and I don't know what that is, but yeah. So sorry about that. A little technical difficulty.
Better apologize.
I can't hear anybody say that without thinking of South Park and Randy having to kiss Jesse Jackson's ass. Apologize.
Oh, yeah. Kiss right there. Go ahead, right there.
They got a new one out tonight. I want to watch. It's I guess Cartman Takes Ozempic.
Oh my God, for real?
Good Lord.
I know that's all I know about it. That's all I need to know about it.
Yeah.
It's going to be hilarious.
Sign me up.
Those guys are so good.
They really do capture the essence of, I don't know. I think that, what blows my mind about those guys is how they haven't been canceled. How nobody's ever gone after those guys.
I want to, the beauty of that entire show is their law department.
Yeah. Like how do they get, like, not that I'm complaining. I don't want to see this. I'm a fan, but it's like, how has the mobness never come for those guys? They've just flown under the radar with everything.
I need to see, I want to hear the S&P department's like no's. Right? What did they just say no on? Like, no, absolutely not. You cannot do that.
Well, not much, man. I think they,
right.
Like, there's, those guys got, they got death threats over the Muhammad thing.
Yeah.
I know.
Remember that? I mean, that was like, dude, that's.
Well, they just did a special with Randy having full frontal nudity the whole time.
Dude, his dick flopping around. It's so funny.
So my favorite thing, my absolute favorite thing about that show, just like in general, is when they really want to like stick it to somebody, and they and that person gets the real head.
Oh, like Tom Cruise,
the photographic head, yeah, or Saddam Hussein or Mel Gibson, like somebody like whoever was like in the news cycles, getting being a public anus, and they like it's just the best, man. It's so funny to me.
Oh, it's so good. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it. It's still to this day. Like ever since I first saw it, like I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And still to this day, I just get so excited when it comes on.
I hate musicals. Like I absolutely loathe with every
the
fiber.
Book of Mormon is so good.
Well, I don't. That's the funny thing is of all their stuff, I don't like the Book of Mormon. Also, not really. I just never. I tried. I just didn't get into it. But like the South Park movie, Team America.
Oh.
I'm in tears. Like I'll sing along with the songs. They're so good. It's so good. But if you put on like seriously, man, if you found a copy of the butthole version of Cats and put it on, I don't know that I could make it through.
I don't think that really exists.
I don't
think it really exists. I don't think it does.
A guy can dream, right? But what I'm saying is, if you took that, the only way I'm making it through is if I get really cooked and put on the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon and played it at the same time and see if it matches up like it does with Wizard of Oz, something. It's gonna be.
Oh, speaking of Valhalla,
that's
you
the kind of
guys,
stuff we
ready for a new Mad Max?
I guess so.
You know that
I
big Mad
guess
Max
whatever.
fan?
I don't like.
You don't care?
It's fine, like it's cool, but who cares? Like I don't know. I don't get the.
That was such a well delivered. It's fine.
It's cool, dude. The newest one though, I'm just like, what? Look at the post on it. It looks like it's kind of like garbage, honestly.
It's overdone. Like it reminds me of the 300.
Yeah, exactly. It looks
like,
just like 300. Yeah,
where they're like, let's make this one look like a comic book, and that, man. I mean, look,
Hey, look, 300 at the time was awesome, but it's been done.
It was cool when it came out. I mean, I remember that was one of the first films where I talked to like an industry compositor about it, and because they had the credit on it, I was like, "Oh, you worked at 300? That's cool." They were like, "Yeah, it sucked, man. We were just destroying the footage," and I was like, "What do you care about the footage?" And they were just like,
he's one of those assholes that brings his camera to work all the time.
They went on, they went on just ranting about how like they just destroyed this footage and why not shoot it this way or that way? And I'm just like, why not let people spend their money the way they want to?
Man,
you're paying me to destroy it.
Paid to do your job, yeah.
Just take the compliment, Dick.
My dream job is to have somebody hand me a bunch of stuff and be like, I'm gonna pay you to destroy this. Like, yeah. Bro, yeah. How far are we booked out? I can destroy shit all day. Never get tired of it.
I do it. Yeah, I do it when I don't even mean to.
Yeah, right. Just I don't know, man. People are strange. People are strange critters, aren't they?
Yeah, they're really entitled a lot of times. It's like that sort of answer is very like, that's kind of below me. It's like, dude, you're getting paid. Shut up.
Yeah.
Like, who fucking cares? Like,
I don't. I'm not going to pretend to understand it.
I hate it when artists are above something. I mean, don't get me wrong.
You are not.
Like, I don't like Roto, but at the same time, like you got to do it sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, what? Sometimes you got to draw a mask. You got to make a key and just animate it. Sorry,
yeah, there's never.
Sorry.
My only.
A lot of times, it'll take you less time to fucking do that than it will for you to send it out to somebody else and get it back.
Right. Well, and there's other ways you can do that stuff too, right? Like there's all sorts of tools in your toolkit. It depends on it. None of these is a one size fits all solution. You get turnkey, and then you got to clean up the lock.
Yeah.
It's just the nature.
The lock is full of cum, and you just gotta listen.
Just
gotta get it all out.
WD-40 is not going to get it out.
Get in there with a little spatula, get you with your pinky finger, and scoop the last bit out of there and get it.
No. Hot glue. You fill it up with hot glue, and then you just pull it all out.
Huh. Well, that's providing that you got a wide mouth jar. Like if you got the jar that like tapers back in the end, you don't want to fill it up with hot glue because then you'll be buggered.
And you'll be out of hot glue too.
What I like to do is just cut the bottom off the jar and get in there with a spatula.
Speaking of a wide mouth, remember when wide mouth came out? This shit.
I don't even know that you can get regular mouth anymore.
Right. It's just like baby mouth. It's like for little baby mouths.
But
this is like, because remember it was like Mountain Dew, I think, was one of the first people like, fucking put as much as you can in your mouth as quickly as you can. Go do
Brandon, you grew up in the South. You had either an uncle or a grandfather that saved beer tops. I'm sure you remember the pull tops, remember they used to pull tabs?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
And they would save them. And I never understood why the hell they would save like big buckets
the one that
of
peeled
pull
off.
tabs.
I had a necklace. Yeah. I had a necklace of one of those things once. Like all the ones that.
And did you wear it at the same time as you wore your puka shells?
Yeah, I remember. Well, that was before puka shells. We grow in and grow out of these things as we grow. But you remember the what? Maybe not. I don't know. Wherever I was, southern rural Minnesota, I remember these kids they would have one and it had like the center tab thing still in it, and they're just like, this one here's worth a kitty grab, and this one here's worth second base. And they were like, I remember explaining to me, and I was just like,
that sounds about right.
I remember being, I was like in like 4th or 5th grade, maybe, and I'm like looking, and these kids were like 1 or 2 years older, and I'm like, no way.
Whose older sister is the poor soul that
Right.
got to cash in beer tabs
Just
from titty
like-
grabs?
The
It's
reality,
like the Antique
and your
Roadshow
mind-
for fucking kids.
And as a kid, as a little dude, your mind is going crazy, and then you kind of like you get past that phase, and you think back, and you're like, oh my god, the reality of that is just terrifying. Like, here's a soda can tab. Whip them out, like
And you like you go to your dad and you're like, hey dad, here
And
this one. I heard this one's good for a titty grab.
yeah. In a civilized
What's
world, man, there's fifth graders running around like this one's worth second base.
Yeah, what's the new age beer tab titty grab? Like, what is the
It's got to be something with
Vapes. the vapes?
well, yeah, like a used vape cartridge that ejected a certain way and didn't get any something or other. I don't know.
This one's got a quarter left in it.
Right? Yeah.
I found it at the bus stop.
I mean, the currency. of the
It's like a snipe.
Who are we? Who are we to mock the alternatives to modern currency?
Yeah, right.
Or just yelling at a cloud to get off my lawn. We're
And
there.
what's the new griff among kids? What like there was always the kid that was the entrepreneur that sold shit at like my wife said, what was it? They would sell like they had the guys that would sell like squirts of lotion in school. You never saw those guys?
Squirts of lotion.
Yeah, they just had big bottles of lotion. It'd be like 50 cents. You get you a big old squirt of lotion. For people, ashy elbows, or you just need some lotion for your skin. It wasn't nothing nefarious, but like, y'all never had that. Y'all never had those guys.
No,
Hustlers.
I must have missed the lotion hustlers.
Yeah, I did get the lotion. We had
I personally never purchased the lotion, but the girls would always purchase the lotion, right? Like you could sell squirts of lotion to girls for a quarter all day long.
It sounds like a very southern thing. I'd be into it.
That's a crazy. If you tried to sell a squirt of lotion where I was from, they would laugh you. I mean, it's humid and it's moist in Minnesota, so
yeah, I think in the South it's there too. So it's like
Yeah,
you're not
that's
really
true.
worried about.
it's not like here in Denver. Like, yeah, you got to use the lotion. You'll put that shit in the
you got to put it in the basket.
Does it as
Denver.
it does as it's told.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, y'all didn't have those kind of grifts. Did y'all ever have any? Did y'all have any hustles like playing quarters? Remember playing quarters in high school?
yeah.
Y'all didn't do that in high school.
I definitely play quarters. Like,
Yeah.
it was more of a party game where you bounce the quarter off the table into the shot glass.
Oh no, I meant the
make
quarters
other-
where you closest to the wall, like you pitch it at the wall, closest to the wall wins the quarter.
Oh, no, we never did that. We did have a lot of. There was always a handful of kids that had made the wedgie out of paper with a pin sticking out of it, and then a rubber band. You pull it back. They'd stick people with that pin, or the throwing star. The kid that made like the throwing star out of paper with the pins also sticking out of the
We went
corners of
through a
them.
stage, like all the males in our school went through a stage. I don't know why, but everyone thought it was funny to get rubber bands and to like snap them on the back of people's arms.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And I don't know if y'all remember doing that. And there was this guy, I still remember, God bless you, Brock Faircloth. I love you to death. I'm not talking shit about you, but he had brought, his dad was in some kind of construction or something. He brought like this rubber band that went around like a bunch of metal pipes. So it was like really thick and like really big. And popped this dude on the back of the arm named Scott. And I remember like he just, immediately started bleeding and all. I remember just being game over for our little
Dude,
our little activity, but that was some
that's
stupid
wild.
stuff. Yeah, I remember that's why would we do those stupid things like that as kids? Or there was the pencil break game, but then there was the where you hold your
Yeah.
hands like this and you got to thump the shit out of each other's pinkies or whatever. Did y'all ever do that?
Yeah.
I
Where you try
missed
to
that.
crack, where you try to crack
missed
their crack the
Yeah.
knuckles with your pinky.
Yeah.
missed
we
that
do
one.
this. Yeah.
Oh,
man.
God.
We
Yeah,
played
I
a game.
could get the good flick, get that nice crack on the knuckle, or
There was a game I remember from middle school called High Point that kids would play, and it was you take an empty soda can, and they called them pop cans there, because Midwest,
weird.
and right, and you'd karate chop the can, and the first person to cut themselves and bleed lost.
Yeah, see, so stupid.
Like we were out to split the fucking atom.
And what brainiac thought this up? We're gonna all hi-ya this can till one of us bleeds.
Yeah, right. Like, do it, pussy.
Pussy.
I saw my brother do it.
Yeah. And you'd see these kids doing it, you'd be like, I don't get, like, and they're just like, you gonna fucking do it or not, pussy. And then sooner or later you get goaded into it. You'd hit the cam like 2 or 3 times and be like, what am I doing? This is just really stupid. Hey, after this, let's play Smack the Nail. Like,
oh God, we used to go, like, one of the things that was like scary, I've gone back as an adult and like looked at what we did, is we would go in, I lived in a neighborhood that had a big lake, and we had a dammed lake, and we used to go jump in like the intake of the water on the one side and shoot out the tube of the other side.
oh, nice.
And then like land down in the water on the other side of the dam. Now this dam wasn't huge, right? Like it was probably at max, I don't know, I can't say it was even more than 100 feet tall, which is tall, but it was really slanted on one side, and it had the tube that came out the middle. It was a very simple dam. And so the tube basically just went into like a concrete box on the other side that was just higher than the water. And so when the water would overflow from raining, it would just go down to the box and come out the tube, right? And then go out into the bay, because we live down on the bay. And but they have a whole thing now that whole area on the other side is all called Alligator Alley. They have this big like alligator observation point on the dam now. You can actually get to the dam. They didn't used to have to like tromp through the woods to get to it, but they built something right next to it now that has a parking lot next to it. So they've made it like this observation thing. And I've gone back and like looked at it and gone, holy shit. Like,
yeah.
How did one of us not die doing that? That is insane.
Or at least even see a gator and like not. Yeah.
Dude, gators were not even on our radar. Like we didn't even think about them.
Yeah.
Which at the time, I guess, a bunch of dumbass kids splashing around the water like that, and knowing alligators and being from down, they just get the hell out of there, right? Like they're not trying to get in the middle of all that. But
depends
at the same
on
time, we used to pick leeches off of each other because we get leeches. So whenever you'd come up from the dam, you'd have to get checked by everybody for leeches.
Yeah. Yeah, it was always ticks. Wood ticks usually for my group.
Yeah, little wood ticks, it's little sea ticks. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's ticks. That's no joke, man.
You get Lyme disease or some other dumb shit.
Rocky Mountain
ticks one of the few bugs that
like
really freak me out. I don't like them at all.
Yeah, I don't like ticks either.
Yeah.
They're fucking gross.
They're gross, man. You see them on, people who live anywhere near any sort of wooded areas in Minnesota, and their dogs, like, because everybody there has golden retrievers, right? Like, like every city kind of has their dog breed that everybody has.
The Minnesota dog of choice.
And it is a popular dog there because of all, like, there's a lot of duck hunters and pheasant hunters, right? And golden is a great hunting dog.
Well, Minnesota's like what, the land of 10,000 lakes?
Yeah, along with labs and golden retrievers. Those are like the dogs that you see everywhere there. Yeah. But the like all the time also, you'd always see one that it was just like running around and had like this big, like, it looked like an Eastern Russia mole hanging off. Guy you see on
some babushka's got it.
Yeah, for real, dude.
Carrying a bag of rice.
Big old candy button on old Poocher's face. And it was just like, it was always like, oh, yuck. Like somebody just help that poor critter.
Oh.
Daggone.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of a tick.
Nah.
Spiders, man. I think I have a little bit of arachnophobia. I don't dig spiders.
And there's actually for going out in the woods, I've actually got these little tools called a tick twister. And it's like a little toothpick type deal. And you just wedge it in under the tick's head and twist it, and it digs the tick's head out. Because that's the biggest problem. You get a tick. Right. If you start pulling it out, you don't want the head to go in there. And so you got to you got to get them with a hot pin, or there's all sorts.
Yeah, I thought you're supposed to burn them with a match, right? And
yeah, you can. But I mean, you get it close to your skin too.
Hey man, burn that thing out of me. I don't care.
Yeah, fucking ticks, dude.
Yeah.
No bueno.
Yeah, I got one time right on the back of the old cash and prizes. That was
right there in the you had to do a little taint twisting.
That was a bad day on the high seas, man. I'm telling you.
Well, how do you find yourself finding that to begin with, right? Like, because I don't find myself checking back there very often.
Yeah,
actually.
you give yourself a full check, man. You go out in the woods. You come back in, say, all right.
Or you'll have a little itch somewhere and you'll feel that flap.
Yeah, if you miss them, you'll catch them. Sooner or later. Once they fill up, there's no missing them.
Just imagine your scrotum just being just fucking densely covered in
Right.
seed ticks, just hanging
once
down from the weight.
Yeah. Once you get the worst part about it, man, is the
looks
protocol.
like a sunflower all hanging off of it.
Yeah, the worst part about it is that the protocol is after you find one and pull it out, you got to watch that. You got to watch the area for like a good month or two afterwards. Like it's not like a mosquito bite where you just like slap it and you're done and forget about it. Like after you get a tick lodged in you, got to watch and make sure there's not like a ring growing out from the bite. You get Lyme disease, then you get all fucked up. You can't like you can taste the color blue and all sorts of that. Lyme disease.
Isn't that how Kanye creates music?
Yeah, he's
Hey,
terminal.
fellas, just real quick, I want to switch over to my phone real quick, and
Oh,
I'll be
going
on
mobile.
the road, and we'll get on the streets. You
The
guys,
mobile unit
some
hitting the streets of
local
Vegas.
Vegas sites here. What they think about visual effects?
Yeah, let's just stop and ask some random people if you come across a 7-Eleven or something. Let's just wheel it
Okay.
in there and
We
ask
have
the
visual effects, man. Hey.
give the
speaking-
first bum, give the first first bum you see $5 and ask them for an interview.
So my speaking of golden retrievers, before we get too far off away from that that topic, my wife reminded me because she can hear me from the other room. And when we first moved here, there was this park, and these people had a golden retriever, and its back end of it was like, you know, it was an older dog or something. Something happened to it, got hit by a car, or ate too much chocolate or something, and its back legs were stuck in like a little wheelchair, like a doggy wheelchair.
Mhm.
You ever seen those where it's like the
Mhm.
sling? And the dog was like sitting there while they were pushing a kid on the swing, and the dog was like trying to jump up in the air with its front legs, and it pitched itself back up and like fell over backwards at the park. And I made the cardinal sin of making a joke about it to another dad at the park.
Oh,
I was like, I was like, ooh, put a little too much English on that one. You know, it's like make a pool joke, and the dude just stared me down. Like, and I was like, okay. But that was the first time I ever tried to make a joke that was like slighted on a dog here in Colorado, and that's just not. It doesn't.
Oh yeah,
fly.
you don't do that.
People
Don't talk about dogs. Don't talk bad about
Yeah.
Subarus.
I mean, it was so like, and after that, I came to find like, you know, you couldn't even have a conversation where you were like, oh yeah, they don't treat dogs the same in that country. People are like, that would never fly here. We like our dogs too much. I'm like, calm down, calm down. Nobody's
fucking
coming to
chill out.
get you. Yeah,
Let's fucking chill out.
you're acting like me when
You're
they
gonna take my
introduced.
dog or my gun.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're acting like me when they introduced gun legislation. Just settle down.
No new dog legislation
We're all
coming out,
gonna-
pal.
yeah,
Chill
we're all
out.
gonna- well, they do introduce. That's the funny thing, man. They actually outlawed pit bulls in some city.
I don't like
here
that
in
it's light.
September.
I'll go ahead and say it. I don't like that it's light where you are.
Yeah, what's up with that? Let me check my ring cam. Let's see what it's doing. It's dark here. Yeah, it's mega dark here. It's coming for you, Brandon. It's gonna be dark where you're at in a few minutes.
That's right.
Old mustard man. Get in your 4Runner. You drive around Las Vegas, show everybody how wealthy you are.
Right. A 2008 4Runner. Yeah,
The old wealth mobile.
there it is. Let's see if I can get this sucker working now.
All right. Get the mobile unit. I
We're
like
on the streets today.
it. You got to go find Stevens.
Yeah.
We need to get you one of those lights that, you know, so you look like a YouTuber where the whole interior of your car's lit up.
Oh, yeah. Like I'm doing food reviews. People do food reviews.
Like hold up a bag of Taco Bell as you're driving down the street.
Yeah.
Just review the new chalupa.
Man. Good old Taco Bell.
Not Taco Bell. I can't ever say that I've ever eaten Taco Bell and was glad that I did.
Yeah. I don't know. Glad you can't view glad as part of the Taco Bell equation. Like it's shame food that you eat to punish yourself.
Yeah,
you're
it's
not-
like CC's Pizza. Like nobody
for-
ever decides that that's
Oh,
the pizza
God.
they choose. You choose
Yeah.
CC's Pizza out of the necessity of having to eat CC's Pizza.
CC's Pizza is just enacted upon you. Yeah, it's never.
Payday's like 4 days away.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's like, hey, I've never heard the words uttered, hey, let's go get Cece's pizza. It's always like, well, I suppose we could eat at Cece's.
Yeah, you don't
There's
say,
a
hey, it's payday.
There's a
Let's go
Cece's over
get
there.
Cece's pizza.
And we could all pool in whatever money we have left after we share a crack rock.
You know what I'm craving? A freshly dehydrated frozen pizza from Cece's.
Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I don't know why. If honestly, Cece's is like a matter of like we just want to eat out and feel fancy, because you could get a Totino's pizza for a few bucks from the frozen food.
What has inflation done to Cece's? What does Cece's cost you? What will Cece's set you back now?
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder.
I'm gonna Google it.
Because it was inside that $2.99, man. You just couldn't beat that $2.99 buffet.
Yeah, dude, $2.99. That's so fucking crazy.
Cece's Pizza. Well, we got one down the street here. I may go for the great comedy. Let's see. Cece's Pizza.
Hey, look, man, it is a good place to take the kids.
Dude, it is a $9.99 buffet. They've got Wi-Fi, catering, and a game room. I smell a deep fried pixels holiday party. Oh, dude, they sell Piezilla, 28 inches of pizza domination. I gotta go. Okay, that's it. I'm ordering Piezilla, and I'm going in a latex suit.
Just go get Piezilla and just go overhand it directly into the toilet and cut out the middleman.
Yeah, go in there with the ball. Go in there with the ball gag and just be like, "I'm here to pick up my Piezilla."
Could I have some red peppers, please?
Scott loves getting just dominated by pizza.
I'm gonna need 14 ranches.
Pizza me harder, Daddy.
Pizza me harder.
Rearrange my guts, pizza.
Good Lord. I'm going down the rabbit hole on their website here. It looks like it could be good enough, but I know better. You know what I mean? Like it's
you're falling for the AI pictures of pizza.
Yeah, I can't. Right. You got to imagine, like, they called it out in Falling Down. Where he's like, look at how the burger looks on the menu, and then is that when they serve it to you, you get this little floppy, sad piece of shit. And it's, I think that's
so true, though.
Well,
I don't know, though, man. I will say, whenever I lived down in Orlando, I loved when people would come into town and they'd be like, where you want to go eat? I would take them to the Olive Garden in Orlando, because it was it was like the Olive Garden. It was the corporate Olive Garden.
Oh, okay.
And it's like where they're, it was I guess they're based out of Orlando, right? And so when you would go to that one, like all of the waiters are Italian, like. It was almost like they shot your food with like some kind of like smoke device when it came out, because when it hit the table, it like had steam coming off of it. Like it looked like the fucking commercial. It did. Every time we would go there, we would always comment of how like the plate of food looked exactly like the commercial. Like, how does this happen? But we got really spoiled going to that one. It was really good, actually.
Yeah, spoiled.
Spoiled.
That's a spoiled. That's I bet. When you were there, you were family.
We were, and we kept having the same waiter. And why we know we kept having the same waiter is because every time we would go, my parents would come down or whatever, and we'd go there, and the waiter would always tell us to enjoy.
Oh, enjoy.
Oh,
wait
enjoy.
A minute. Was it a Latin enjoy?
Yeah, he would enjoy. Please enjoy. Oh, yes, enjoy.
You'll come to the Olive Garden.
Yeah, so we would always laugh at him because it was such an enjoyable experience.
Enjoy.
He invites you to his daughter's quinceañera and shit. He's like,
well, that's how it was. He would speak like he was so Italian, and at the end he would always say enjoy, and it was like it doesn't seem to be the right.
Yeah.
that thing where they used to send all their chefs to their plates in Tuscany or something to get trained. I don't know how true that is, though.
Yeah, I want I've heard.
I think
I've
they're
heard that.
chefs, like they're real chefs. I think they're corporate chefs. Yeah,
Yeah,
not the chefs at the restaurant.
Yeah, they're right up at the top. There's like 2 or 3 guys who are like, "There's no way I'm working at an Olive Garden chain. You ain't
Unless
gonna
I
get me.
go to Tuscany.
You ain't gonna put me on the. You ain't gonna put me on there. I'll tell you what. I got a cousin. He lives just outside of Tuscany. We can stay at his place. We can go there, do a seminar. Bada bang, bada boom. We come back, tell everybody we trained, and you get endless breadsticks forever. Achievement unlocked.
Oh, speaking of restaurants, did you guys hear about Red Lobster shutting down because the shrimp, all you can eat shrimp was killing them?
What?
No, they shut down like 50 locations.
They're just buckling under the pressure of
That's what they said, though. They're like,
our own.
it cost them hundreds of millions of dollars, they said.
It's their own. It's their own. Here we go again, man. It's their own Frankenstein's. It's their own Frankenstein's monster. It's just made out of shrimp this time.
Oh, they had a marketing campaign they just did where they gave away like free lobster for life for like you got to
Holy
get
crap.
one piece of lobster like every 2 hours or something like that for the rest of your life, as much as you wanted.
I mean, look, that's like free diarrhea for life. Here's the funny. Well, I actually have a funny lobster story. If you guys got a second here.
Here, would you like as much lobsters you could eat and a colostomy bag?
When I got to Samoa, I remember going out and swimming on the reef and noticing there was a bunch of lobster like all over the place, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" Like we're gonna eat like kings, and and I was snorkeling around and I came up out of the water, and like 20 feet away from me, some dude is just dropping trout and just taking a dump right there. And I was like, oh, so maybe I'll find a spot where the lobsters aren't eating people's food. And I went one day and found, made sure I found a place that seemed a little cleaner, brought back a lobster, and the Samoans were like, "You're not going to eat that, are you?" Like I was getting ready to like boil it and stuff. And they were like, no. You don't eat that. That eats all the shit off the reef. Like we don't eat those.
Bugs, yeah.
And they're just bottom feeders. They're like, we don't eat those because they're filthy. And like they're like, we feed all the pigs the garbage and we'll eat those before we would eat a lobster.
With the pigs. The pigs are great.
Okay.
Yeah, lobster used to be a peasant's food
Let me
back in the 1800s.
Yeah. That was what they would give to all the underlings. Here, have lobsters.
How's the
have
time
these mud
passed?
bugs.
It's like,
I love some crawfish. So man, I love some crawfish.
I haven't been to a good bug boil in quite a while. Give me some mud bugs.
They're so expensive now, though.
Yeah.
Like really, really expensive compared to what I know I'm getting old. It's like not like it used to be, but like it's insanely expensive. I think it was like you used to be able to get mud bugs for like $4 or $5 a pound, and it's something like $27, $28 a pound now.
Yeah. Well, they're a pain in the ass to catch.
And I'm sorry, but I have to have 5 pounds for myself.
Sure.
And so I'm not paying $100 for 5 pounds of crawfish. I'm just not going to do it.
No, should you? That ain't right.
Yeah. Any self-respecting Southern ain't going to eat 1 pound of crawfish. That's like 14 crawfish. That's not enough.
Probably the weight of the shell.
Right, that's the part of it. Yeah, it's the whole thing. So you're barely getting any. You only get, it's not a lot when you're getting that many.
Right.
Like getting crappie or something, go fishing for crappie, I get like fucking dozen of those things get full.
Yeah, I don't think you can actually buy crappie.
I've never seen.
Yeah, you usually go fishing. Yeah, you just go fishing.
Well, that's what I mean, right? Yeah, because you can catch the shit out of those whenever you find a spot where you can catch them. If you find a little pier to jump off of and catch some crappie, it's like dropping your line in the water and just pulling them out.
Yeah.
I remember taking my daughter to like the first time fishing, my oldest daughter, and like my mom knew somebody at work was like, "Yeah, we got this pond that's overstocked. Like, go out there and take her fishing." And so we went out there, and I could not get worms on the hooks fast enough. Like, and then we just stopped. I just started tearing off like pieces of styrofoam off the worm bucket and like sticking them on the hook and just sticking them in the water and having these brim. And it was just crazy how fast she was pulling them out of the water. But it's fun when they're hitting, but that don't happen very often.
Yeah.
They call it fishing. They don't call it catching.
That's right. there's and then there's fishing it. There's fishing to eat, and then there's fishing for sport. Some people just like to make them fish late for something. Don't like to eat them at all. And people
down there in Alabama, they got the alligator hunting. I've always wanted to do that, but
man, dude, I want to go to Texas and do one of them hog hunts.
Oh,
maybe
pig bomb! You want to go fly around the helicopter and shoot the AK?
The helicopter would be fun, but I want to go around in the Jeep, out of the side of a Hummer, and
do one of those big 50 cows mounted on the back like Rambo.
Honestly, man, you could get. Just with an AR, you could go out there and stalk them and blast them at night.
Oh, come on, man! If you're gonna do it, might as well go obsessive.
I would like to do what I would like to do is the whole weekend trip where you do you stalk by foot, and then you go out and do the Bradley on the back of the Hummer or whatever, that kind of thing, and then the helicopter is just probably all of that together is probably just too much. But doing it with thermals, doing it at night with thermals is the way to go, because you don't get it's hot out there, but you don't get as hot sitting there cooking in the sun. That just
Thompson's dad was going to take me jungle hog hunting next time I go down there.
It's no joke, man. Hogs,
dude, those are some crazy hogs.
They'll go wild. They'll go hog wild on you.
Literally.
Yeah, I don't know, Brandon. I don't know if I'd want to go out with the in-laws hog hunting in the woods of Brazil. That sounds like a setup. Yeah, the rainforest of Brazil. It sounds like a setup, man. I don't know if you're coming back.
Brandon, let me take you hogging. What'd you say to me?
Why's your dad talking about my hog?
Okay, that means a whole different thing here in the old U.S. of A.
Right,
lost in translation. Sorry.
Still hogging, son.
Don't worry, Brandon. It's just a circle jerk.
This is a picture of him holding a toucan or something. Was that the one where he's holding?
Yeah. Dude, he got so much hate on my Instagram. People were like, I was like, dude, have you ever been around a toucan? You know what they use that beak for, right? They break shit with that beak. And it was injured, right? So he saved it. He grabbed it, took a picture with it, got it vet, got fixed, and all that shit. But yeah, people are like, oh, you're just that man's a pawn. You need to take that down. I was like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah. You just can't handle an animal on the internet unless you're just observing it, And even then, man,
don't observe it wrong.
There was a lot of people. We've got the Rocky Mountain Arsenal right in between downtown and DIA, the international airport there, and there's a whole herd of bison that lives roaming free range in that arsenal, in that area. And so it's this kind of open space where you can go drive through and you can check out, see the bison, and all the time, man, there's it gets on the news some lady went up and she got gored by a bison, and you see the video and she's up poking the bison hey, look, a big buffalo, and I'm just oh my god, you do realize that thing will fuck you up it will cash it'll cash a bad check and not care
yeah, don't mess with animal law, lady.
Yeah,
get back in your Kia Sedona, lady.
Yeah, but I found out an interesting fact actually about Texas the other day that somehow still shocked me, and that was that there are more tigers in private collections, private zoos in Texas, than there are in the wild.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
dude, that's crazy.
And I mentioned it to somebody, and they were like, that's probably not a good thing. And I was like, I don't know, man. I think it's kind of awesome. That's pretty rad.
Where'd all the Tiger King's tigers go?
Yeah, well, to Florida, right? Didn't care.
Oh, that bitch Carol Baskins.
Yeah,
because they were in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're up there in the old Panhandle. The lore
used to be pretty easy to get your hands on a tiger. I don't know. I don't remember those in the back pages of Mad Magazine, but
that's the joke. That's the joke here, is that the Panhandle of Oklahoma was because Colorado paid extra money to Oklahoma to buy up that land so that they wouldn't have to share a border with Texas. I personally don't understand what all the hate with Texas is, but I do like the formula of the joke.
Sounds like something Colorado would do, though.
I don't understand the hate between Colorado and Texans. It's just a bunch of cowboys.
Or anybody for that, like any state for that matter, really. I don't get it.
Come on. We all hate Michigan.
I don't know. Michigan doesn't bother me. However, I do hate New York.
Yeah. New York's the worst.
New York's New York, though.
I hate New York because of this.
New York City. I'm sure New York State's fine.
I've never been to anywhere in New York State. I've only been to the city.
It's New York City. Same here. I've been to New York City, and every time I go there, I'm just like, this happened to me. Like I don't get the allure with it. I can get how people would have the allure and like see it, but it's just for me. I'm like I just don't see it.
Yeah, it would chew me up, and spit me out. I think because it's too. Like I do like it. I think it's cool to visit because it's one of the few places where like, you know, you can feel the pulse of the city, right? Like you can feel that city when you're there.
Yeah.
It's palpable, right? Like you can tell, like this is where like big shit happens. But I don't know. It seems it's like standing at the base of a mountain. You know, it's that insignificant feeling.
Yeah.
You know, when you're out in the woods at Yosemite and you're standing there, you know, looking up at El Capitan and you're going like, holy fuck. Like, I mean nothing to this world.
How did you do it, Lord, in just 7 days?
Well, it's also one of those. It's also one of those places where when somebody approaches you, you definitely feel like no matter what their demeanor, you're just kind of like, my life's in danger right now. Like this is like that fork in the road, the 50-50 split where this person has chosen me for potentially murder. I don't know.
But it's kind of the same feeling of walking around New Orleans.
Dude.
New
Orleans is one of the most violent cities there is in the entire country.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I've seen some of the craziest shit I've seen anywhere. Like outside, I mean, like, you know, New York's one thing, but like the craziest shit I've ever seen has been in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Like just right out in the public, don't care. Like, I mean, we last time my wife and I went down there, we checked in the hotel like early, and then we went to go get some lunch. And between the hotel and where we got lunch, we saw like a lady masturbating. Some dude taking a shit in the middle of the street and then walking around with his pants off, and then like it was like one thing after another of like debauchery just between the hotel and us having lunch, and like we haven't even been here 20 minutes.
Right. I
almost tripped over a lady masturbating on Bourbon Street.
Wow, that's just that aggressive.
We're standing right next to the guy who was just. You know, they have all the buskers out there doing their thing. This one guy was just out there sawing a board. That was his whole thing. He had a bucket, and he was like, had a needle on one side of the bucket, and he was just sawing a board.
Wow. He's like, listen, I can saw a straight line.
So that's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff where, like, pre-internet, that dude would do it, and people would kind of scoff and laugh, but still watch. And like that guy's got a YouTube channel. He was probably broadcasting to it then, and he's probably got like a good handful of followers, like dedicated ones too. We're just like, man, saw that fucking board, man. Get it, show him balls.
Yeah, that's how they go to sleep at night. They just watch his videos on repeat, like I watch Food Network.
Right? Yeah, I can't. Man, I just can't. I just can't fall asleep unless I got Billy Two Saw for You playing.
Natasha had this friend. She was staying with us for a little while, a little way back when, and I was in the bedroom. I heard some moaning coming from the front room. I was, oh my god, what the fuck, you know? And I kind of peeked out the front, and she was watching. To go to sleep, she would always watch these things with people that were getting massages.
They were getting what?
And on YouTube, yeah. And I thought it was porn for a second. I was like, oh, okay, it's just someone rubbing someone else's feet. Okay, that's weird.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of like in recent years here. I've seen a lot of these ASMR videos popping up.
Oh yeah,
and it's just like
they're just like eating an apple.
It's like, what is this? And a lot of people are just like too close to the microphone. Like I just went down the rabbit hole one day because I'm like, what is this all about? Like is this just for people who never get to hear anything during the day and they're like, I just like the sound of this and I want to hear?
No, I think it's for autistic people.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Like the
things like that. I think you have to be on the spectrum, but I think it does. I think it like rings, comfort to you.
Yeah.
To hear an Indian man eat an apple.
Sure. I guess that tracks. Yeah, I can see that. Welcome back to the No Eye Contact Network.
Man, I heard. Have you ever heard? You know who Shane Gillis is? The comedian.
Yeah.
He does a whole act on Down syndrome. People with Down syndrome, because I guess his uncle has Down syndrome, and he was just talking about how he doesn't understand how people hate on, like, he was saying like autistic people are the cats of the world. Like you don't know if they like you or not. You can't quite trust them. The things like he's like, but Down syndrome people, those are the dogs of the world.
Yeah.
He was like, you talking about, go ask a guy with Down syndrome if he wants to go for a walk.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Or throw a ball. He was like, they are the happiest fucking people on the planet.
He's like, yeah, don't worry about them. They're fine.
Yeah.
They're happy. They're happier than most people that I know. That's what he said.
It's just so funny.
Yeah, because everyone makes fun of him because he looks like he's got a touch of Down syndrome or something. And when he was in the Special Olympics coaching, they thought he was Down syndrome too, so he kind of got a pass.
I like from the videos, he looks like he's tall, man. He looks like he's like
I think he is. Yeah, I think he's like 6'4".
Yeah, some sort of like high school football player that just discovered comedy instead of UPS.
Yeah, I mean, he went into West Point scholarship on football. So.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, he went to West. He was going to be in West Point, and then I guess he failed out. All that, but yeah.
He is like just all he does all day is record podcasts with people. He literally just does what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. He just does all day, just talks and records himself, just riffing with his buddies.
Oh, he sounds like he sounds so much like Chris.
Yeah, a little bit. I can see that.
He does that.
Little less boat captain, but yeah.
Wait, riverboat or
no, this is like northern Atlantic Sea.
Okay, because they're very distinct, different. Like
no. This is like that. Did you ever hear that? So, Chris told me a story about
coming into place.
Apparently, there was like this this naval ship and this rogue captain that was like on this destroyer or whatever after World War II that was like sailing around Alaska or whatever. But like something about his communications were messed up or whatever. But he didn't realize the war was over for like a whole year and was just sailing around up there in the north, like patrolling, like or whatever. And they had to like, I don't know. But he said he was talking about it because he was talking about like a movie treatment or whatever about it. And I was just thinking that's a fucking fantastic story about just some old surly ass boat captain. Just like, no, they're not going to take us down.
Right, and they find him, and he's just, like, ready to go. He's like, I've been holding this area down, and nobody's setting foot on it on my guard. And they're like, so the war's been over for, like...
Yeah, it's just a rusty old battleship. Just him by himself running it.
15 years. I never fired me a single shot.
He's just still holding off Russia. Right. You know?
He's just firing. He's got like a small gun. He's firing like... Go away, commies!
I'll give you a red dog.
There's just a little island off of there, just destroyed that he just keeps fucking with.
Oh my god! They found him. They found him on the battleship island off of Japan. Which that's a crazy story if you've never read it.
Yeah, that's a wild fucking thing.
It's just like an island that it was some sort of facility for something that they were making. They were making stuff there, and it looked like a battleship, and it got torpedoed like a shitload during the war because everybody thought it was a battleship.
Huh.
And you could go out there. I don't know if you can still go out there and tour it at this point. It looks like the last pictures I saw a few months ago, it was pretty decrepit. But you can get a good, like, they've got, like, good VR tours of the place that you can take and go poke around. That's pretty wild.
I love those stories about that island off the coast of Australia. You probably know about it, but that one that has like the people that have never been inhabited by anyone else. Like I guess they'll like fly helicopters over it, and they'll all the people will throw spears at the helicopters and stuff.
Yeah. It's closer to like Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, and then like one guy tried to like he like docked there to go try to like make contact with him, and they ate him.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
It was it's Sentinel Island.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, that was one of those things. I don't know how much of it was like real versus urban legend. But I love the idea. Regardless, I love the idea of a place like that that's just like remote, and all the natives were like, you know what? We let a bunch of people on land once, and they tried taking over and telling us what to do. So we killed them, ate a couple, and decided we're just going to eat anybody that we actually let on. Like, we don't eat people. Like, they got that's just like the front part of the island. Like, they got a backside that's all developed, and they're just living like total just paradise back there.
Like jet skis,
lap of luxury. But like if the only part that's accessible by boat, they got a bunch of dudes running around in loincloths, like painted in human blood. just raping
Umbutu and his brothers back there just eating people.
Raping volleyballs at gunpoint.
It's just a bunch of rich. Well, that's actually where Kennedy lives, right? When he's running QAnon from that island on the backside.
Yeah, it's the entrance to the Hollow Earth back there, and they got to keep it guarded.
Yeah, 100%. That's also the edge of the flat Earth. Is just past that.
That is the most plausible explanation for what's going on Sentinel Island. I will say.
I just love it that they think they can throw their spears at helicopters.
So there was I remember getting into this with somebody when I worked at DD. I don't remember who it was, but I remember having the conversation. Somebody pulled up a picture of, it was like a little Cessna, like a little bush plane, and the bottom of it was full of spears. And they were like, they flew this plane, because it was talking about like the same island, I think, maybe, or something. No, it was somewhere in the Amazon that they were saying. They're like, yeah, there was this undiscovered tribe in the Amazon, and here's the pictures of the people like holding up the bows and arrows, and these spears didn't even match what they had in the photos of the people that they were flying over. And I was like, this is about the time where I discovered like TinEye, the reverse image search before like image search. And I pulled it up on TinEye, and I was like, oh yeah, look at that. It's an art exhibit. Like, it's a cool thing. Like, it's an awesome photo, but it's an art exhibit. And the guy was just like, nope, that's a cover up because they don't want people going to see it.
That's a cover up.
Oh my God, dude. He's just like, come on, man.
Was this guy's name Brandon Cashel?
No. Oh God, no. No, Brandon. This guy. Some people, man, the conspiracy people, who I love to dabble myself, right?
I do a little dabbling.
I do. I love to read about it. I find it really fascinating, and without concrete evidence, and a lot of it's really crazy to watch a lot of conspiracy stuff playing out in real time at this point. I won't get into
You ever
that.
seen the back of a dollar bill, man?
Yeah, but like the thing that gets me the most about conspiracy people is that you can't disagree with them in a conversation unless you've just got the mental fortitude to like trudge through.
It's like arguing with a drunk person.
Yeah, but you can't agree with them either. Like once they've pegged you as being like adversarial on the matter, you can't be like, yeah, I know, I get that. They're like, no, you don't get it because you get like,
Yeah, then it becomes a prick waving match, and who knows more information.
It's just like, holy crap, man, I can't. And it's interactions like that have just led me to stop talking to people en masse. I don't know, because I just run into it so much. People are so eager to share with you that they're just totally crazy.
Well, if you just want people to leave you alone, just walk directly up to them and say, "Hi, my name is Zach. What's your religion?"
That's Well, I get that's another thing. I was talking with Brandon a little bit about it today. There seems to have been an uptick in like people that I work with want to talk politics, and I'm just like, man, stop.
Yeah.
Like, especially. Like, even if I agree with somebody and I know that we have similar views off the record, sure, fine. Like even at work, and I know that those, we're gonna vibe on it. But if I know somebody doesn't like, I'm gonna leave him alone about it. I don't want to talk about it with him. I don't want to have debates. Like, there's a time and place for debates, and frankly, it just doesn't. It's kind of rude. You know what I mean? Like, I remember a time when that was considered rude.
Yeah,
to discuss those things.
Absolutely.
No, you never talk about politics or religion in a public setting. That was like the two golden rules.
Yeah,
of like socialism.
And I
or not socialism, socializing.
yeah. When I get like, I'm guilty of getting drug into it too.
Sure.
Somebody will say something, and I'm like, I'm to the point where I won't come right back out and just clap back, but I'll just be like, I disagree. If they ask me, they're like, "What do you think?" I'm like, I disagree with it.
Well, you've evolved into the pocket constitution, right? Like, you just don't have an argument anymore. You just hold that up.
I don't. Yeah, for me, and that's where I go with it, man. Is I'm like, look, for me, it does boil down to that. It boils down to I'm a single issue citizen, and that is the Second Amendment, because that is what it's about. And if we lose that, you're going to find out why we had it real quick.
Well, look, man, politics and religion are two of the things that really piss people off, right? Like, people are very stout in their beliefs and stout in their views.
Yep.
I really like you guys. I don't want to have some kind of weird conversation and weirdness between you because me and you don't both agree on Amendment 13 or whatever.
Yeah, seriously.
Right? Like, it just makes so dumb, because people will cause rifts in relationships over some stupid shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that's the thing, is not everybody, I don't want to say that they're mature or not, because I don't think that's really the core issue at it. But a lot of people are just incapable of having differences with others without like drawing their line, without drawing such a hard line on stuff, instead of like keeping the line of communication open with people. Because here's the reality of it, man, is you may feel this way right now, but people change,
Yeah,
people change. Give people time, and they may or may not, or they may not change. Really, at the end of the day, what they're doing may feel like a personal attack on you, but it's not a personal attack on you. That's their conviction.
I think one of the most juvenile approaches to an argument somebody can have is whenever they tell the other person, like, everybody has changes of mind, right? Like, you can change your mind.
Yeah.
Like, I can have a point of view and then hear another side and go, all right, well, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But it's weird when you get into a conversation with somebody and then they want to bring up that you used to think a different way. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Right. Like, that's a detriment.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. You're right. I did. Now I think differently.
Isn't that wild that people are, well,
I remember back in the day when you said, like, well, that was like 15 years ago.
Well, and that's not, and that's also not people arguing in good faith either. You know what I mean? Like, if they're doing that, they're just out to, they're out to win an argument with somebody, not have an actual exchange of thoughts and ideas. Because I mean, in this day and age, man, everything is, it's crazy. People have. I do a lot of talking, but I also do a lot of listening. And one thing I see happen a lot with people across the board is people will settle and hang their hat on this gotcha that's built on things that are just like not concrete to begin with. Yeah. Right. Like the problem, like we'll just say, I don't want to get into specifics, but we'll say like a problem solution reaction scenario where the problem was proposed by the group of people who want to provide the solution and get the reaction from the people to get the solution. It's a known documented tactic that's employed all the time. But if you're hanging your hat on the solution to something, then you're not really predicating your argument on something solid anyhow.
Right.
And so like people are kind of using they're using the reaction and the solution as an end to the means, or means to an end, and hanging their hat on that. And it's just like, man, you got to think about it from a higher up view than that. Otherwise, we're all going to be in trouble. Like once the mob starts working that way, it's over, man. There's no more everybody just goes into an argument, or they hear something that's contrary to what they're clinging to, and they're just like, that's it. I've made up my mind, and you're not going to change it, no matter how much new information I get or whatever.
Well, and that's part of the problem with the internet and stuff too. It's like you can always find information to collaborate whatever side of the argument you're on.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of it is so poorly presented that it's really easy to refute by hanging on to it that way. Yeah. And just being like, nope, that sounds like the devil talking.
There literally are bots that they have designed to counterpoint opinions.
Right. They're running the shower argument simulator on us, man.
It's a tool in the background of Zoom.
We're the beta group.
That would be funny if you could turn that mode on in Zoom call. The contrarian mode where you're just arguing and you're just sitting back. You don't have to do anything. Your AI is just arguing for you.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, I didn't. That has become like, as much as it grinds me to hear people respond to anything that way. At this point, it makes me laugh when somebody's like, "Oh man, you spilled your drink on the table." No, I didn't. You spilled. I always just like responding to an accusation with an opposing accusation. Which you spilled your drink on the table. You spilled your drink on the table. Yep. You spilled your table.
Just slap it. Look at it.
Now what? Checkmate. Gotcha.
Gotcha, bitch.
Now what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you that motherfucker? Well, gentlemen, you got some interesting weeks coming up. Everybody working this week?
Yeah. Wrapping up.
No.
Well, it'll happen soon.
Soon. I mean, so I got a call next week for possibly jumping on to some game stuff. Sounds like it's going to be a pretty long commitment if I do that. So I might be saying so long to episodics and film for a while. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, That's an exciting leap. Could you say anything more about what you'd be doing? Would you be doing like blueprint setup stuff, or
just probably effects and some blueprint stuff? Yeah.
Okay. So you'd be using like Niagara effects, or they got their own proprietary type deal? So I messed around with Niagara a little bit myself, and it's pretty it reminds me of the old school Maya particles.
It's yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know if you ever used Cascade before. It's in the 4-point, so it's like Cascade, just more overpowered and stuff. But it reminds me a lot of particle illusion.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, it has the modules. You have your modules and stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of thing, but it's easy to use for the most part.
Yeah. How big is the jump for technology? Like, I know that there's, it's not like you're just going to be using Maya or Max, right? Like,
we're using Houdini, so I'll be using Houdini still, and Unreal. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I'll be using.
That's cool.
Nice.
There's a lot of nice tools to pass stuff back and forth. If you get it set up, I mean, it takes a little bit of time to get your stuff set up to pass back and forth and keep all the, I don't know if you'd be using the Houdini engine at all or what, but there's a lot of, it's great using Houdini because you can just pass stuff over. If you're not using the engine, you can pass it over with the right kind of attributes and everything and make it kind of read it natively. There's a lot of flexibility there.
That'll be cool. I'll be interesting to hear your transition over from visual effects to games. That'll be cool for the show, I think.
It's kind of weird because I'm kind of doing a roundabout thing right now where I started out in games, and I'll actually be working with the same people I started out with in games.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they're an awesome group of people. I learned so much from them back then, and so if it does go through, it goes through, awesome, and we'll do it. But if not, we'll figure something else out. But it's
go back to selling your body.
That's right. Sell my body on the street of Vegas.
Yeah, there you are. You're in Vegas. You're in Sin City. It's the place to do it. Half price Brandon.
The
buy one get one free.
Taco Bell.
BOGO. It's BOGO Brandon.
Taco Bell has their flagship store there right on the strip.
A flagship store, huh?
Yeah, but here's the rub. They don't do chili cheese burritos at the flagship store.
How well, that's just I don't like that. I don't like how they regionalize things. I remember I found out there was a Popeye's chicken and biscuits in Seattle, but it was in Tacoma, when I lived there, and like that's like an hour and a half away or something. But there also happened to be there is no Walmart in Seattle proper.
Yeah,
like the closest one.
Yeah, there's not, right?
Yeah, the closest one was in Tacoma, and so like I was like, all right. I mean, nice little Saturday. I'm gonna go on down to Walmart, and I'm a boy of the South, right? I like to go shop at Walmart. I'm gonna go down and get me some stuff at Walmart, and I'm gonna go stop by Popeyes, and I'm gonna get myself a chicken biscuit, because I love their Cajun chicken biscuits. But they because they have if you don't know about it, they have something called Mardi Gras mustard. And I know it sounds weird, but their Mardi Gras mustard on their spicy chicken biscuits, the best goddamn thing in the world, and to me anyway. And they asked them they gave me my chicken biscuit, whatever, and I was like, "Oh, can I get some Mardi Gras mustard?" And they were like, "What is that? We don't have anything like that here." And I'm like, "No, you got Mardi Gras mustard. This is Popeyes. What do you mean you don't have Mardi Gras mustard?" And so I was they were like, we've never even heard of that. So it was really upset me how you go to these regional areas and they don't have your sauces.
Yeah, I get it, man. I always think of the
your sauces.
I always think of the scene.
I drove an hour and a half for that shit. Yeah, I didn't get it.
From Idiocracy, where he's asked if they have water instead of Gatorade, instead of Brondo out of the drinking
stuff in the toilets.
What, like out of the toilet?
I like money.
I love the Costco. The Costco person is like,
"Welcome to Costco. I love you.
I love you."
Remember my daughter that time that she was on the phone? I was talking to Brandon, and like my daughter was just like, I love you.
Yeah, we were getting in the car, right? We were picking her up or something for school, and it's like, "I love you.
I love you."
Okay.
All right.
I used to whisper it to people walking out of the door, like get down like near them as I was passing, and be like, "I love you."
That's hilarious. Like to say that in position, like you're holding the door open for somebody and they think, "Oh, thank you." Normally, yeah, no problem. Just be like, "I love you."
Yeah.
And just leave them with that and see what kind of reaction you get.
It's got to be in passing. You got to be like, you have to be able to say it and not give
and walk away. Yeah. You can't stand there and wait for the reaction. You just got to keep walking, keep it pushing.
Yeah,
love
you got to churn and burn with that one. Love you. Yeah.
That was another thing out on the West Coast when I was out there. I remember getting yelled at for somebody for holding the door open.
Really?
And also, I can't help but say "ma'am" a lot. I don't care if you're older than me or not. Right? Yeah. Like it's not an age thing with me. I just normally say, "Yes, ma'am." That's a weird
thing that people get mad about.
But I got so many times is "do not ma'am me."
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm sorry, ma'am. I mean, sorry.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, I can't stop.
Right. Did you just? Is that a misgender?
My brain can't commute. I just shit my pants. I gotta go.
I guess it could be. It's ma'am. Okay.
Oh yeah, like the ma'am person. Yeah.
The GameStop.
Oh God, how wonderful did the GameStop thing go this past week? There was like $60 million or something blown again over the past week.
I missed it.
Yeah, they did a whole short sale thing again last week. And it went for like 3 days or whatever, and it changed like $66 million changed hands or something stupid. It went up from like, I think it was like 120 a share or something, back down to like 20 a share.
Wow!
In a matter of like 2 days.
Zoic Scoob.
But it was all done by like a Reddit thing where they were like, "Hey, let's try it again. Let's see what happens." Blah blah blah, and then it, I guess worked. And then. I guess GameStop ended up selling like a whole bunch of its shares and cashed in on its own thing.
Really?
Yeah, like they ended up selling like a big percentage of their shares during that and made a whole bunch of money for GameStop.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, I read that this morning. That they actually cashed in on their own thing. They were like watching for it, I guess, this time. They're like, as soon as this happens again, we're selling.
Damn. That's wild, man.
I wish I could get on one of those things. I'm just not smart enough.
Right.
Or not stupid enough. I think you have to have a little bit of stupidity to jump in on something like that. That's really risky.
There's definitely a level of like, you're riding with the devil.
Well, See, I can't get the play out right. This is where we need our producer.
Yeah, Josh is out gallivanting somewhere on the streets of wherever he's at.
Yeah, who knows, right? He's mobile this evening, so there's no real telling. But yeah, everybody have a good plans for Memorial Day.
Working.
Yeah, no plans. Probably just some drywall, some mud.
I'm going to a anime convention on Sunday. That's about it. So,
Really?
Yeah. About the extent of my weekend. But so you guys have a good one, huh?
Yeah,
we'll try and join it next week. See if we get the whole crew back together.
Gonna be great.
We can get some special guests, maybe some fanfare. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be all up in the air, like most of these things are.
Amen.
All right, gentlemen. We got to get better at this sign-off. I need a little more enthusiasm on the sign-off, okay?
Sorry, just driving, that's all. So
I know. You got Brandon trying to stay in between the lanes over here. I got Zach falling asleep halfway through. They got sexy saxophone going on in the background, guys. Come on. All right, we'll see y'all next week.
Laser pointer.